What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the channel. I'm not sure. I always figure out, like, because I'm using a brand new software, if I'm actually live or not. So if somebody could say something in the chat room, that'll let me know if I'm on. You guys know I'm trying to bring this channel back to life, rising from the dead like a zombie, and got to put some work in. I got to put a lot of work in. So if you guys can let me know that I'm live in the chat room, I know there's a slight delay. I would appreciate that very much. And okay, all right, Elite 540. Okay, all right. So I'm on. I'm on. That's good. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you guys, man. All right, then I'm loud and clear too. So yeah, man. So we trying to bring this channel back from the dead, man. It's been a long time since I've been consistent on this bitch, but I'm trying to bring it back, man. So we're gonna have the green screen back up next time and what all that. I just got the lines back up too. So, I'm getting back used to it. I'm getting back used to it. But I just got tired of watching everybody else kind of do this. And with all intents and purposes, they're boring as fuck. And I mentioned that on the last stream. I just felt like, watching everybody else do what I know I could do at a better level was just really frustrating me, man. Particularly with the way the market was going. We're going to all-time highs. We're going into an election year. Get fucking excited, man. Get fucking excited, bro. We about to have a new president more than likely this coming year. I have a feeling we are going to have a new president, regardless of what Joe Biden thinks. I kind of mentioned this on my last show this past Friday or Thursday that I think he's going to possibly have a medical emergency. Okay, I'm not wishing that on him, but the Democrats are so desperate right now that I could see them taking out their own dude just to get somebody else in there. That's how desperate they are right now. They're down 20 points going into this thing. There's going to be some major decisions moving forward, particularly in the Supreme Court. Look, there's a lot on the line, man. There's a lot on the line. There's a lot on the line, and you got a lot of wicked people who don't want to be exposed. And you've got a man who was, pushed out of his position of power, and you better believe he's got some retribution to deliver. And I'd be afraid to be on the other side of that retribution. But again, not Democrat or Republican. I'm just looking forward to watching it. I'm looking forward to the tweets again. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it 100. I'm looking forward to those tweets. I'm looking forward to that kind of money. Shout out to Woody Wright, all the people in the chat room, anybody who's watching right now. Appreciate you, man. Again, this channel has been, in the dumps for months. So anybody who's in here watching, I appreciate you guys. I gotta bring it back, man. Got to bring it back, and it's gonna be a tough, slow sledding. But we're being consistent. If you're not following me on Twitter, do so. I'm posting regularly on Twitter as well, my Instagram as well. So, we're doing the things that we need to be doing. But let's get into these tickers right now to talk about. The market went sideways again. Today was another down day for the market. In fact, yesterday was a very terrible day. In fact, it was the worst day since October of 2023. But, look, as I mentioned in the market wrap up on Twitter a couple hours ago, I don't think that what we see going on is indicative of what the future looks like for the market in general. All right, regardless of whatever it is you trade, whether it be small caps, large caps, mid cap, it doesn't matter. I think that the bull case is still in alignment. Now, everybody's, looking for what the next leg is, and everybody's hoping that that's going to be rate cuts. Here's the thing, though. Rate cuts were never promised up until, a couple weeks ago. Right? Now, you've got already conversations that rate cuts are only happening because they're trying to get Joe Biden elected, and he would like to see some of the lower prices affecting us as we go into the election year. For those of you guys who don't know, in fact, I believe the Iowa primaries are this month, if I'm not mistaken. Right? If I'm not mistaken, the Iowa primaries are this month. if I'm not correct. Monday. Okay, January 15th. Iowa primaries. Again, we fully expect Donald Trump to be the winner there. I don't see any surprises. That I was a little bit frightened for a second by Nikki Haley. You want to talk about a warmonger? You ain't seen nothing yet until you see the kind of things that Nikki Haley's been out here talking about. And because she's way past war demagogue. She's worse than, I'm talking about Bush administration worse. She's worse than that because she's broke. And when you have a candidate for president who's broke, that means that's somebody who's going to do anything for $1. And she's that type of candidate. She's that type of candidate. She's willing to do anything and everything Raytheon and Boeing want her to do because that's who's paying her. I suspect who's paying her because she went into politics. It's well known she had less than $100,000 of net worth. Now she's worth a couple $1 million. How did that happen? Well, because she enriched herself through donors and many of the other things that politicians do to enrich themselves. All right. We talked about Nancy Pelosi in the last episode. She's another one. Went into politics with no money. Now, if you look up the net worth of Nancy Pelosi, it's a couple $100 million. Look that up. It's incredible. Over the last 30 years, she's enriched herself to levels that you could only imagine. Okay? And these people are using their positions of power to enrich themselves using the market. And again, we can only do what we can do, and that's to copy a lot of their trades, which is what so many people have done recently with Nancy Pelosi's NVIDIA trade, buying as low as $120. So that means she definitely believes that NVIDIA is going to be going higher significantly. Okay? So put some tickers in the comments if you guys want me to review. Again, relatively ugly day across the board, but for the most part, everything was, pretty much right where we left it. We are not far off what I talked about on Thursday, where NVIDIA is still trying to go for 500. Sideways day today, down 1.2% on that. Google with, sideways day. So everybody's trying to look for where and what's going to happen moving forward. We had a company come out, a no-name company, by the way. Shout out to Trader Z for bringing up Bitcoin. Will Makeaway, appreciate you for joining me. What's up with States? I'll get back to Trump here in just a minute. We had a no-name company come out and, bring out the bat on Bitcoin, saying that the ETF was likely not to get approved, which is absolutely false. We've had everybody and their mama with a little bit of ounce on Wall Street come out and say that the ETF is going to get approved. So this is not a thing where it might happen or, it's at risk for being denied. It's going to happen. How will Bitcoin react is the issue. How will Bitcoin react is the issue. Are they going to sell on the news or are they going to buy on the news? That's what people really want to know. At the end of the day, Bitcoin doesn't need the ETF to continue to go up. It's going up because we live in a fiat-based economy where the government is broke and has to continue to print money, which steals from all of us. Bitcoin is the hedge against that, right? So it's going to continue to go up every 4 years like it does anyway, right? Every 4 years, Bitcoin adds a zero to the end of the price. Literally every 4 years. It's been guaranteed since it's been established. Every 4 years, Bitcoin adds another zero. It's happened every time. And we fully expect Bitcoin to do it again over the next, some people say by the end of this year, but again, it's got 2.5 more years on that 4-year stretch. All right. So going back to and answering Will's question, what's with the states kicking Trump off the ballot? Because again, they are desperate. I mean, look up the polling data. All right. I think it's pollinginfo.com or whatever, or just type in Biden Trump polls on Google. Biden is down by 20 points or worse. It's beyond desperation. It's beyond desperation. You got Arabs saying that they're done with Biden. I know black folks ain't voting this next election cycle for Biden at all. I mean, I don't want to hear anybody black say anything about voting for Biden. We've had, had it the worst over his administration. Price of food, price of housing, the fastest growing demographic regarding homelessness is black women. The so-called black women that he rallied so hard for during his election. They've taken his administration to the chin the hardest. Crazy stuff. But again, they're not going to talk about that. If this was Trump in office, you'd be hearing all that data every day on the news. Again, I'm not biased per se. I'm just a realist about what's going on out here in this economy. All right. Took your call spreads on coin, costing you some money. That's what's up, man. Shout out to Woody Wright making some money on coin. Again, all of the Bitcoin stocks have been under pressure these last couple of days, but again, I fully expect them to all be higher by the end of this year. All right, for those guys who can't stay in those trades and need that money to reinvest that capital in other ways, I understand you taking profit here. All right. Mr. JRH, you said her and her husband worth $114 million. See that? There we go. Again, when you sit on, these senatorial boards. You sit on these senatorial boards, and I think Nancy Pelosi actually is in the House of Representatives, if I'm not correct. Nancy Pelosi is a representative, not a senator, right? I get that confused sometimes. And by the way, you guys heard a couple weeks ago where those two guys got caught having gay sex in the Senate building. That was crazy. They actually made a video of that. Literally, this dude is giving him back shots. Two guys, one, giving him back shots. Two white dudes giving each. Oh man, it's. And again, they never faced charges for that. By the way, too, they still talking on Twitter. They're huge Twitter stars now because of that. You see people live in their cars and rest areas. Oh, it's gotten really bad. Who brought up Elite 504? Brought up AVAX. Let's take a look at AVAX right now, real quick, for you here. Again, it's a strong stock that looks like it's pulled back in a considerable way. But I mean, look, the stock was up over 260% for the year. I mean, I don't know what happened there in November, but whatever that material news was, it was very important, and a lot of traders saw the value in that. Here's AVAX. Let me see here. What? AVAX. Oh, this is a cryptocurrency. Okay. Still, I want to know is this a crypto? Yeah, okay, it's a crypto. Okay, it's a cryptocurrency. Again, I'd want to know what was the material information that made it take off back there in November. But very impressive nonetheless. Again, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of one of those people that kind of believes that anything that's not Monero, Bitcoin, or Litecoin, for the most part, is a shit coin. I'm not even going to lie to you. But there might actually be a use case here. But I'm not going to lie to you. I really do believe that, in all intents and purposes, at the end of the day, it's Bitcoin and nothing else. Litecoin too is going to play the part just because it's just been around for so long, and it features very much the same. It's a fork of Bitcoin, and I look at it like gold, silver. Even though it's not playing its part right now, I do believe there's a catch-up trade eventually. All right. So those of you guys who bought my course a couple years ago, man, it's some really exciting updates going to be happening this weekend, where that's going to be brought back. So all you guys who bought the course, you'll still have access to it. I'm still trying to figure out in my mind if you're going to have access to the new version. Just because y'all bought it like 3.5 years ago, I've learned so much more in that time. But it's something I'm still thinking about. But I'm going to bring that back hopefully this weekend, and with some updated information. All right. I was going to, Sheila, please share the link to the Watch the TV News. The old one doesn't work anymore. Oh, for that watching CNBC during the day? Is that what you're talking about? Let me see. Here's another one that I use. Let me put that in the chat room. Maybe if you want to watch CNBC. And again, I watch all these channels for free. I mean, I don't pay for cable. I haven't paid for cable in years. What's going on, Bats? I haven't paid for cable in years. So that's what I use for CNBC. So I watch that. You know, I use 4 monitors. So I'll have that one on CNBC, and then I'm, doing my thing on my other monitors, just watching my positions. Okay. But that one should work. And that one does also have a bunch of other channels you can, and I put my ad blockers up too. And that website doesn't block my ad blockers either. Because I don't tolerate ads. Zimstock still rolling from the unrest in politics. Well, what I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen any material effects on the market regarding the fact that the largest shipping company in the world, Maersk, has basically been blocked from using the Red Sea. I mean, this is a company that handles, almost 30% of freight moving through that area, and Business News has basically not covered that at all. So I'm watching that. I'm watching, what's going on there. We had what clearly was a U.S. small hat collaboration to create chaos in Iran. Recently, we had a bombing in Iran during the celebration of a major Iranian figure who was killed by the U.S. So you've got, man, there's a lot of things going on out here in the world, man. You've got, again, a country out there that's really trying to bully Iran into war. And if I'm really praying that Iran doesn't bite, because, that's not what we need right now. That's not what we need right now. But again, that's symptomatic when you live in a country that, you print money. It's nothing to get into war. When you print money and it's not backed by any material wealth, who cares about spending 20 years out in the middle of the East? You just print money. And now you have the possibility of engaging, one of the strongest militaries in the world. Iran is actually a real strong country, by the way. They're no joke. That's trillions of potential debt that's going to have to be printed. You think Ukraine has been bad? Imagine war with Iran and the price of goods and services in this country when the U.S. has to print that kind of money. Because you got to understand, that country in the Middle East, which I can't even say because they take my channel, they're not doing so hot in their bombing of Gaza right now. They're not doing so right. They're taking heavy losses. In fact, they've had to pull out just because of the losses they were taking. Estimated anywhere between 1 to 5,000, and they're not even acknowledging it. I believe it's on the low end of that. I believe, they've taken maybe anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 losses since the initial operation. But, at the end of the day, their goal, which is something they, put it in their initial writings of the creation of their state, was a greater I word, right? A greater I word that extends all the way into Egypt, all the way to the borders of far into Lebanon and beyond. You've got to understand, a lot of people believe that within that country, that their borders are too small. They've been looking for a reason to extend and grow those borders. So we've got to be very careful. We got to be very careful here as a country, and we got to stay on top of our leaders, not to fall for it, not to fall for the okie doke here. Because again, they're not going to send their kids to fight. It's going to be your kids. It's going to be your neighbors' kids who are going to go out there and die. Old men who know each other sending young men who don't know each other to die. Straight out of the movie Lions for Lambs, man. That's what it is. Lions for Lambs. Great movie if you haven't watched it. Hard to believe CPI is next week. The year is on to a fast start. It's very quick. 2023 moved very quickly, even though it was a terrible year for America as a whole, but great for the markets. New data came out, by the way, too, that the top 1% of America owns 90% of the market. Absolutely insane. Google that. So all their money is there. I mean, they're all in. You know what I mean? They are all in. Incredible data that came out on that. Metaverse will run off Ethereum. NTE. Is that, you said NTES? Is that what you're putting down? What is NTES? I'm not sure what that is. And I don't see that being a stock that was on our 2024 AI value chain. Again, if you didn't watch my previous episode, the AI value chain, these stocks that are listed here are the stocks you're going to want to be in. Hit me up on Twitter if you want this, or just press on the replay, press pause and take it for yourself. But it's set up very much like the OSI cycle, if you ever studied IT. So you start at the bottom all the way to the top, which are the actual products and services people use. And these are the companies that are going to be leading the next 10 years. All right? So pay attention to that. Absolutely. What's going on, Combo Contracting? Yes, what's going on, Dawson? Yes, indeed. Dawson, you haven't driven Uber in a long, long time, man. He's saying former driver, former Uber driver. It's been a long, long time since you have done that, if I'm correct. All right. What's going on, Adam? Why not Ethereum? See, here's the thing about Ethereum, Adam, and I saw your question earlier, and I want to get back to that. Everything that Ethereum has can be built on the Bitcoin blockchain. Ethereum, at the end of the day, is just another coin that, and I saw the new Ethereum map that, Vitalik, I can't pronounce his last name, put out. But it's clearly a directionless kind of platform. They don't know where to take this thing, man. And they still haven't solved the question of gas fees. And again, I don't want to take it into I don't want to complicate my audience, but there's a lot about Ethereum that they haven't figured out yet, and they still don't want to put a cap on it. At the end of the day, it's still a cryptocurrency with unlimited, they can print as much as they want. Please educate me if I'm wrong, but it's basically fiat. It's like XRP. It's like XRP. Absolutely. It's built in the same way. Help me 100. Built in very much the same way. Okay. Again, if you're new here, go ahead and click subscribe on this right now if you're new here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here, click subscribe right now. Join us as I rebuild this channel from the ground up. I appreciate you. And press like on this video right now for me. I appreciate that as well. All right. So other than that, guys, it was, very materialistic, a very, boring day for the markets for the most part. My stocks weren't doing much, which are NVIDIA and Microsoft, which I'm riding very hard right now. I swear NVIDIA scares me the most because although it's been one of the most generous stocks in the market, you got to understand if one day China just wakes up and decides to attack Taiwan, which, by the way, we won't be able to do anything around it. But China would have Taiwan surrounded within an hour. Understand that NVIDIA would be immediately delisted. I mean, it's not something where it's like they're gonna allow China to control NVIDIA and NVIDIA's gonna keep, siphoning off U.S. capital. No, it'd be delisted like so many other Chinese stocks were delisted under the Trump administration. It'll be gone. Okay, it'll be gone. Now you'd have a lot of people benefit. Some U.S.-based semiconductor companies that, like SMCI would probably benefit, and some other major players, AMD, Intel, right? But it'd be a disaster for anybody who has capital in NVIDIA, NVDA. I mean, give or take overnight, you'll lose maybe 70% of everything you own in that. If China decided to attack Taiwan. The repercussions would be vast for China, for everybody involved. That's something I honestly don't want to see. Okay. But don't get it twisted, man. I got my Trump red hat ready. I know he's got some wackos on his side, but at the end of the day, man, look, I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of watching my president fall off chairs and tables and stairs every other week, fumbling. Today is Friday. He says it's Tuesday. Not making no damn sense. Just embarrassing us all over the world. I'm tired of that, man. It's embarrassing. All right. So those of you guys who, I'm trying to put this label back on here, but the call-in line is back up, 305-699-3399, 305-699-3399. I don't want to spend too much time on the air tonight as I'm still, again, rebuilding my studio in here. We're going to get this green screen a little bit closer so I'll be able to, be in the picture correctly. But I didn't have time today to get that all squared away, but we'll get that all taken care of. Again, 305. Oh, I haven't even memorized the number. 305-699-3399. 305-699-3399. So that's the call-in number for you guys who actually want to join the show and give me some tickers. Oh, you got some tickers you want to talk to your fellow audience members about. 25. Let me see here. Visa's still looking good. Let's see what else you guys in here. Okay. Absolutely. Somebody talking about oil. Let me get a good oil stock. Besides, of course, I could always type in oil, but what's that? What's that? Gosh, I used to play oil a lot, but now, of course, there's USO, but I'm trying to think of that one that Buffett bought into not too long ago. Let me see here. Let me look that up here. Buffett oil stock. Oxy. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, it was Oxy. Oh, okay. So that's not doing very hot. Not doing very hot at all. Okay. Not doing very hot at all. Again, that plays into what some people are saying about the overall market, that there's still significant amount and lack of breadth through the market. And that's true. That's true. That's true. There has been a lack of, strength in the stocks that aren't necessarily in the quote unquote Magnificent Seven, right? And I put that up earlier. The stocks that aren't in the Magnificent Seven. Here are the couple of them here. I think there's missing. Oh, Meta is up there. Okay, so this is that magnificent group of companies that everybody is into right now, and that has taken on. These companies have gotten so big, they basically control their indexes, particularly Apple. When Apple was down yesterday, it took basically every other tech stock with it and its index. So, so much capital has blown into these 7 stocks. Everything else just almost looks like it, doesn't even matter. But they do. And there are good signs for the fact that, things aren't as good as you might want them to be. FedEx looks bad, UPS looks bad. I mean, transportation in general. TL is that T. What's the transportation ETF here? DJT. Yeah, I mean, decent run. Actually, better than I thought it would look. Got killed today, but because again, it's such an interest rate sensitive, index. But materially, it could be better. It could be a much better looking chart. Again, this is another index that was so hyped on the fact that we might be getting cuts. And indeed, it's looking like higher for longer. It's looking like higher for longer. Here's Rig. Andrew's bringing up Rig. Adam, excuse me. Okay. Hey, Rig, Adam, what are you excited about Rig in? Like, what is it, why does that interest you? Why does that interest you? Because it's not, it's not necessarily one of the bigger oil companies, right? So what interests you about them? I mean, because you got some companies out there that dwarf Rig, like huge. Of course, the British Petroleums and the Oxys of the world, right? And then Exxon, of course. That's another one that just popped up in my head. So you let me know what's the interest there. No, I always use a Miami number. I always use a Miami number because it's always been a good luck number for me since I was been in the Navy. So I always use a Miami number. The association with 305 and Miami, sun, great weather. You know what I'm saying? And just the way people react when it pops up on their phone. It's just a different kind of energy when you see a 305 number pop up. So I've always used a 305 number for everything that I can use. Even though I'm, haven't been there in years. I always use a 305 number. Because I really believe that, numbers there's certain energy that comes with certain numbers. And I just feel like there's something about that 305 that plays a part. When a New York number, a 231, I believe that's the area code, pops up, that's got an energy. 404, Atlanta, that's got an energy. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, Waste Management. That's a stock I haven't pulled up in a long time. Again, this you want to talk about companies that are going to be around for a long time, and all they do is pay great dividends and mind their own business. Elite's, Waste Management that he pulled up earlier. That's one of them. All they do is just print money because they're in a business that many people don't want to be in. They pay their people good. Even though I think they are also unionized, if I'm correct, up north. And all they do is, it's very capital intensive, but very little competition on a large scale. I mean, of course, you got your regional, players in the small regional areas, but for the most part, Waste Management has no competition on a national scale. One thing that I used to talk a lot about were, the water stocks that a lot of people aren't really paying attention because there's been so much consolidation in water. Consolidated water. There you go. And a lot of people aren't really paying attention to what's going on in water. But there's a lot of consolidation. You've got these companies like Consolidated Water, and I'll create a list for my next show because I was paying attention to this, quite a bit in 2022, where they're going out and they're just buying out small regional water companies, buying out counties, and saying, hey, you know, why manage your own water when we'll just take over your water department and you give us a slice of revenue, right? And we'll pay you this and blah blah blah. And with that, they get updated facilities. They get the capital that you may not be able to get without raising taxes. Now a publicly traded company comes in, and all they want from you is some money, which by the way does translate to higher prices for uh, local customers. But depending on what you get in return, that might be worth it. But it's something to pay attention to. These water stocks are actually doing really well out here, and it's something for you guys to pay attention to where to put some money. This is a very, very good looking chart. If we look this up, this is a very good looking chart. All right, here's a monthly, and you'll see a lot of water stocks that look just like this. What's going on, Sinclair? Yes, indeed. So it's Joe Martin, but now you're Sinclair, or what? Well, I don't understand. Or you were Sinclair, now you're Joe Martin. Oh, okay, okay. You moved on from Miami. Okay, I got you, combo. Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, beautiful city, man. Beautiful, beautiful city. I was just there in August. Love, love Miami, bro. Beautiful city. Got to stay focused down there because a lot of things just try to, take your attention. It's a hustler city too. It's a hustler city for sure. International hustler city. Bats, are you still in here? Do you have some tickers that we can all look at, or anybody else for the most part, before I get up out of here? Or unless you guys have any questions. And again, I'll post in the next episode. I'll make sure to post the phone number down at the bottom of the screen so you guys can call in at any time. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Netflix. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at Netflix. Let's take a look at that. That's a good one. That's a good one to bring up. You know, again, man, that's you know, what can you say? Not so bad. You know, obviously it's been quite a boring month. Unless you kind of doing some directional spreads here, it's pretty much been a boring month for you. And by the way, if you sign up to my mailing list, you're going to get a copy of the book, the Encyclopedia of, let me see here. I forgot the full name of that book, even though I'm in that. Right? The Bible of Option Strategies. You're going to get the Bible of Option Strategies completely free if you sign up to my mailing list. And don't worry, I'm not going to sell your email address or anything. I actually haven't even sent out an email yet. I'm still building up the list. But here's a link to my mailing list. So you'll get a free copy of that book, The Bible of Option Strategies. Every single option strategy man has created is in that book. There's not a single option strategy that's ever been created that's not in that book. That's why it's called The Bible of Option Strategies for a reason. If you can get the physical copy, get the physical copy. But hey, the PDF is available for free. I'm giving it away for everybody who signs up for my mailing list, and then you'll get a PDF link and you can download it. It's about 4 MB or something like that. It's a pretty thick book, though. It's about 700 pages. As for Netflix, it looks like, again, earnings have been doing really good, regardless of the fact that they did raise prices, and then they got rid of the whole password kind of sharing thing. They really did crack down on that last year. Some people say that was, responsible for that leg higher. YouTube passed Netflix, and you can Google this. YouTube passed Netflix, I want to say 2 months ago, in terms of higher viewership than Netflix. In the end, I think Google beats Netflix down the road because, YouTube just needs to do a couple things, and they could crush Netflix. They could really crush anybody who's demanding some money, for over-the-air streaming. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, man, YouTube has everything you need. There's some people who don't even watch TV anymore just because everything they want is on YouTube, right? YouTube also doing some really good thing about having local channels now, having sports channels and NBA and NFL. They're already making the moves. So, I think a complementary option for you to look at if you're into Netflix is also look at Google. Also look at Google because, I feel like Netflix is a one-trick pony. Now, they're trying to change some things up because if you noticed, they've been talking a lot about, bringing video games and cloud gaming, where you're going to buy the remote controller. Microsoft did this not too long ago. You'll buy the remote and then, you'll be able to play video games, using cloud-based software through Netflix. NVIDIA is doing that right now, which NVIDIA's product is actually really good. I played that. It's actually really, really good. So you can have a terrible computer, but you log in through this cloud-based gaming software, and as long as your internet is pretty good, you can play basically all the hottest games for like $20 a month. It's insane. NVIDIA's already doing that. So, but again, going back to, YouTube versus Netflix, YouTube has everything that you want. You only, for the most part, if you got 10 to 20 favorite YouTube channels, that's pretty much all you really need to entertain yourself. You know what I'm saying? A good 10 to 20 of your favorite YouTube channels, that's pretty much it. Unless you're looking for something else. Unless you're looking to answer to a question or something like that. That's really only when people start looking around. But for the most part, people kind of stick to their 10 to 20 and just kind of bounce between all of those. Even though you may be subscribed to hundreds of channels. Let's continue to look and see what's available out there. You brought up Roku. All right. There's some news that came out that hurt Roku. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was some materially damaging information about Roku that got released recently. You may know about it, Woody Wright, but I'm pretty sure I read some bad news on Roku recently. And that one again looking like it's not headed in the right direction here as it breaks below that Keltner channel. And again, that middle Keltner bell represents about the 20 RSI, I would say. Right? So, you're broken beneath that. You're already below the 50. There's the 100, which is that blue line right there. So things not looking so good right now, and it's moving down and moved down quickly. You're off, $30 a share since November 1st. So things have moved against you quite quickly in Roku. So see what's going on there. But if I'm correct, there was some materially damaging information released. Eli Lilly, I'm not a fan of pharmaceutical stocks. I'm really not a fan of pharmaceutical stocks just because they're just so... everything is just about like some trial that you don't even know how things are going and all of a sudden it just pops up and things worked or it didn't work. You know, I don't like that kind of, lack of transparency regarding a lot of pharmaceutical stocks. Some people can live with it, but I can't. Obviously, something came out really good here on Eli Lilly. Good for them. Good for them. I do know there's a law being passed here soon that all the medication regarding, I forgot what it's going to be down to $35. And that's not necessarily the law. It's that Biden put together a plan where Medicare and Medicaid would only pay $35 for insulin. Insulin. That's what it was. Thank you. Thanking myself there. Insulin. So that has been capped to $35. Which is so funny because going back to this conversation on the healthcare space, California just passed a law where they are giving all illegal immigrants free health care. So you don't get, your black ass don't get free health care. But somebody who's a citizen, by the way, you're a citizen. You've been paying taxes. You've been paying taxes into the state for damn near all your life. And you can't go to the doctor to get a teeth pulled or get free cleaning or get free anything. But somebody who just crossed the border, and by the way, when, we say crossing the border, 10 years ago, you would think it'd be a particular race of people. Now, you got Africans crossing the border. You got blue, black Africans crossing the border right now by the tune of almost 1,000 persons a day. Go look at some of these videos now, people who are crossing the border now. They're not even Hispanic anymore. They're from India, they're from China, they're from Africa, right? Venezuela, a year ago, put out to all the African nations and say, you're going to be visa free. Now, understand this. There's nothing an African person is going to do in Venezuela. The idea is that they fly into Venezuela and then make their way through South and Central America to the U.S. That's all they did that for. So, interesting development that we've been watching there on the border. And again, Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, you gotta be on Elon Musk Twitter, or X now, formerly called Twitter, and see these videos that are coming out of the border. They're very, very different kind of people crossing the border now. Most of them are military age men, and I don't know where they're gonna get women from. You know what I'm saying? Because which is kind of scary, because these men will eventually want women. All right, they're eventually going to want women, and when you have young men who don't have access to women, that's a problem. You're going to see a sharp rise in an SA and the R word, the 4-letter R word. Go look at Europe. Go see some of these European countries that have brought all these people from the Middle East who have no skills and no education, some of them. Those of them who didn't bring a woman, they're literally essaying every woman that they come across. 4-letter R word. It's the levels of R word that's happening out there in Europe is insane right now with these guys who've been crossing the border. Which is crazy, because they're also bringing some of there's talk that hasn't been solidified, but there's talk that a lot of these Palestinian refugees, they're going to send them to Europe. Because where else are you going to put them? You got to understand that Palestinians are, for lack of a better word, they're like, they're basically like the black people of the Arab world. They have solidarity. The Algerians, the Libyans, the Egyptians, they have solidarity with them because they're Arabs and they're also Muslims. but they don't look at them as their people. You get what I'm saying? A Libyan doesn't look at a Palestinian as his people. Although they speak the same language, they worship the same God, they don't see each other as the same people. So you have millions of Palestinians in Lebanon, but for the most part, they're not necessarily even really wanted there like that. You know, Egypt doesn't like taking them in. Turkey doesn't like taking them in. And Iran, for the most part, don't like taking them in. You know, so where are these people going to go? Again, this year coming up, folks, is going to be explosive in a lot of ways. My prediction for 2024 is more chaos. Bigger heads will always prevail. I hope. We pray. We pray. All right. Let's keep it going. WMT. Walmart. Walmart's been such a boring stock, but man, again, this is another one, again, pays great dividends. They somehow figure out how to make e-commerce work. They've closed down a lot of unprofitable stores. You know, even though the last 3 years have been very, very hard for Walmart, where you've got unrelenting stealing happening in some of their stores. I mean, they had to close down a location in Chicago because there were videos. I mean, you can go on YouTube and Twitter, see literally people who had, 2 baskets full of stuff just walking out of the store. One day, the store just got looted. There were thousands of people just coming out of that store with just gobbles of stuff, just stealing. They ended up closing that store. Now that neighborhood was a food desert. Walmart was basically the bread basket of the community. Now that place is a food desert. You know? So Walmart's still been able to figure out how to make it work. But again, not my kind of stock. Very, very boring. But as you can see here, again, it's not a high beta play. It's not a stock that's going to give you, 200% a year, right? It's definitely not that kind of stock. I mean, the stock's up 11% year over year. So, hey, look, man, if you got $25 million, I understand why you play a stock like Walmart. But if you're trying to be a millionaire like me, I can't play stuff like this. I need more. I need way more delta than that. You know what I'm saying? And delta wasn't the right word. I need more alpha than that. That's the right word I'm looking for. I need way more alpha than that. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. Even if you use options, a stock that's up 11% year over year, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. But hey, if you're a big money person, again, right? Because investing is about scale, right? Investing is about scale at the end of the day. The more money you have, the better your the kind of trades you can make, the less risk you have to take. So if you've got scale, then, again, stocks like this make a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Thank you, Elite. I appreciate you, man. I wonder if they're letting this happen to fill lower level jobs and lower wages. No, sir. They're allowing it to happen because you got a birth rate collapse that's going on within the West right now. Understand, there is a birth rate collapse. You see, these people aren't stupid. If they wanted to shut down the border, they can shut down the border. All right? They know how to shut down the border to keep this country, keep certain people out of here. Trust me, America knows how to do something when they want to do it. All right? But if you got a birth rate collapse happening, and what better way to maintain your birth rate but to invite through, oh my God, they're crossing the border, some of the least educated people in the world, least skilled, who by data are more than likely to have multiple children, 3, 4, 5 children at a time, and invite them to come to your country. and to settle here and to be that difference, right? Because at the end of the day, we do need a certain amount of people to be born every certain year to maintain the economy as it is, to maintain that GDP, right? You know, look at what's going on in China. They're encouraging people to have children. You know, they got discount flights to the Singapore because Chinese men, there are not enough Chinese women because of that one child policy they had for so long. There are discounts for Chinese men to go to Singapore to get women, to go to Singapore, to Vietnam, to Laos, to get women. That's how desperate a lot of Chinese men, because they're literally millions of Chinese men, and not enough women for all the Chinese men. That's why if you're a Chinese woman, oh man, you're getting, you know, love bombed everywhere you go because they're just not allowed enough Chinese women. You know. So they're going all over the world trying to find a woman to be with. And the preferred thing for them is women from Vietnam, from Singapore, and whatnot. If they can't get a Chinese woman. Yeah, read into that. That's some deep stuff. Russia is paying women who have like 5 or more kids. I think they're giving them like $10,000 or something like that. Yeah, Russia is paying women to have babies. And by the way, you're going to start seeing that here too. You're going to start seeing that happen across the Western world, where you're going to start seeing governments pay women to start having kids. You know, which is sad because the only reason women aren't having children is because they are becoming more and more, they're receiving more and more of the burden of having to take care of the household in terms of just, you know, very little, you know, I want to put it in a way. Yes, you do still have some men who are taking care of all the bills and whatnot, but even now, you're seeing that share that she has to put on increase more and more and more and more and more. So, yeah, if she's feeling the burden of higher prices, of insecurity, then she's not going to have a gang of kids. You know, she's not going to provide the 2.5 you need. You know, and then of course you got feminism playing a role in that, right? That's played an incredibly fourth wave feminism has played an incredibly destructive part in American society. I mean, incredibly destructive. It doesn't work anywhere else like it works in America, just because you have a welfare system, right? I mean, the welfare system plays a big part in fourth wave feminism and fiat money too. But that's a whole different conversation. But I mean, go look at what Disney just did today, where they gave Star Wars to this huge feminist from, I think she's from Pakistan or something like that. Of course, she doesn't talk that shit where she's from. She comes to America, and she's some like big time feminist, Pakistani or Indian feminist. And today, when she was announced as the new director of the Star Wars movie, she says she's going to make what's the lead character in Star Wars? Whoever that guy is it Han Solo or whatever? He's going to turn into a woman. He's going to be a woman now. Or they're going to, you know, anyway, the lead character is going to be a woman. And it's going to be filled with all kinds of like women power, women empowerment. They're going to destroy Star Wars in this next movie. You're going to see it. Again, just check the news cycle today. That came out today. All right? And that's not me being anti-feminist. I've already seen what putting, you know, that at the forefront of the topic of the movie does to a series. Look what they did to Terminator. Look what they did. Terminator was one of the highest grossing series of movies ever. They destroyed Terminator. They destroyed Terminator. They don't even know where to take the story. I mean, to where the story to go from here. Terminator's been basically destroyed. Alien. I mean, that nobody knows where. I mean, that's been all over the map. That last one was just like, yeah, okay. I mean, this most recent Marvel movie. I mean, horrible, 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 horrible. Because you've got people on the left that honestly believe that everything's got to be a political statement. When I go to the movies, I just want to be entertained, man. I just want to be entertained. I don't want to be in a political. There's time for wokeness, but it ain't when I'm going to the movies, man. But they don't get that. They don't understand that. You know. Oh, they basically destroyed that brand. Look, Disney should be trading well below $50 a share right now. But if you got billions of dollars into this, you've got people with pensions and people with, you got old money in the stock. But look at this. Look at this slide. Look at this slide, man. This when they say go woke, go broke, that's what you see in Disney in the way this stock has been going. Look at that RSI. It hasn't seen 50 in a year. In almost 2 years now, because we're 2024. It's going to be 2 years since the monthly chart has even seen, monthly RSI has seen the 50, that 50 line. That's horrible. I mean, that's horrible. Well, yeah, you go woke, you go broke out here. You gotta be slick with your wokeness. I mean, they just went broke. They're going broke. Keep playing that game. They lost, hundreds of millions of dollars on this most recent Marvel movie. They lost hundreds of millions of dollars on the Mermaid movie. You got MGM possibly, going to be setting themselves up for the same thing when they're still talking about a female James Bond. I mean, come on, man. Y'all got to understand that, there's believe and then there's make-believe. And, when I'm seeing women, beating up 6-7 guys at the same time, one woman beating up 6-7 guys at one time, come on, man. Now you're just making me feel stupid. Do you know what I'm saying? Now you're making me feel stupid. Yeah, Happy New Year to all of you guys in here. It's an election year, man. Get excited. Get excited. It's an election year. 2 weeks until the Iowa primaries. We expect, I fully expect Trump to win that. He's winning by well over 50%. So we definitely expect Trump to take that. But yeah, go look into Trump. He's already got food tasters and all that stuff like that because he's got to. These people are sick, man. Yeah. Can we legally send someone to the shadow realm, and does the R word perhaps even unalive them? Oh, yeah. I mean, they're already doing that. They're already doing that. Oh, man, look, you already know they're going to have the girl kiss another girl. You already know that. Like, at this point, we're not even surprised when we see it. It's just like, all right, they're going to stuff it down our throats. I mean, that's, and that's where they've been wanting to get us. To where, like, you don't even fight back. You see? It's I mean, it's very much like the cycle of abuse. At the beginning you try to, oh man, I can't even talk about this on there, but it's in psychology, it's, literally between an abuser and the person being abused. It's really like, a chain of events that happens where at the beginning there's an attempt to fight back, and then eventually when the person being abused feels like there's no one is going to come and help them. There's nothing that can be done about the situation. They literally give up. And they just allow it to continue. That's where where we're becoming as a society, where we're just like, okay, go ahead and give it to me. My cheeks are spread open. Go ahead and give me all the propaganda you want. You know, that's where we are. Yes, sir. You know, but going back to his comment about whether or not they're allowing these people to take on those lower level wages, nah, it has nothing to do with that, because at the end of the day, you know, they understand that lower wages and the exploitation of the working class poor has a lot more to do with, you know, particularly in a capitalist society, has a lot more to do with whether or not you decide to put yourself there. So they don't care who ends up doing low end jobs. They just know that somebody's going to be down there. They really don't care who. They really don't care who. You know, but in the game of capitalism, they understand that, you know, they're business owners, you know, and then everybody else, right? And the best way to get yourself out of being exploited in the system of capitalism is to provide a good or provide a service, right? You're more likely to get wealth for yourself if you are highly educated and you try to position yourself for a highly skilled job, or you become a business owner, you hopefully become successful. But even if you don't become extremely successful, you know, your six-figure business owner is better off than 90% of Americans who are trading, you know, their time for money. You know, and that's due to more or less the tax system, where they can be earning just as much as you are on their 9 to 5, but they have significantly more benefits in being able to, you know, keep more of the money they make. Right? So that's why it's advantageous for you to find ways, you know, even if it's on the side, to figure out how to be able to have something on the side for you to be able to take advantage of the tax system on. All right. All right, guys. So again, not the most exciting, you know, start to the new year. I'm not going to keep the show going. For the most part, again, look, it's been, I get it, man. It's been a very boring last 2 days of trading, but I don't believe this is indicative of the rest of the year. We had an incredible 2023. I don't want to say 2024 is going to be a sideways year, particularly in some of these stocks that, um, you know, they just have everything going for them. You know, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, Meta. I mean, everything is going for them. You got to understand, entire data centers have to be rebuilt, have to be completely rebuilt from the ground up. Entire I mean, your whole office has to be replaced because of what's going on with artificial intelligence and how fast. I mean, ChatGPT 5 is coming out here in July. ChatGPT 5, we were just talking about ChatGPT 3. Now it's going to be 5. 4 is already impressive. So 5, oh my God. It's about to be crazy out here. You know, let me show you this ChatGPT thing. Can I show what I just created on ChatGPT? I created this myself. I just created this calculator myself using ChatGPT. Can I show? Let me see here. I'm trying to figure out if I could display source. No, window capture. Yeah, let me see. Let me see. Can I show? Okay, this is the calculator I built using ChatGPT. Can you guys see that? I built this calculator using ChatGPT. It's a very basic calculator for the most part, but I built that using ChatGPT. All right, and let me. Oh, I could probably just use this. Yeah, let me just use that. Let me just use my not the. the picture. Let me just use the actual calculator. So I built this using ChatGPT myself after learning how it works. But I can be able to do my spreads. And again, this is going to be included in the course. So for those of you guys who get the course, or you already got the course, you'll get this calculator free anyway. So let me see if I can just try to do an example of a trade here. So let's say we're trying to do a vertical in, I don't like the SPY. SPY sucks. Let's say Microsoft. All right, and we're going to go 44 days out. Yeah, let's do 44 days out, and then we're going to go 25 delta. All right, so where is that at? So it's trading at 371. We'll go for the 320s. We'll sell 320 against 315. All right. So 320 is trading. So right now it's trading at 371. All right, let me see so that you guys can see this. Can you guys see that? I think you guys can see it, right? Okay. Just want to make sure you guys can see it clearly. All right, that don't really make it bigger. Okay. 371. Strike price, I said, is 320. That might be a little bit too far. Right now they're going for, let's put the middle line, 52. Let's put $53. It's going for $53. All right, so ooh, that's nice. All right, so we know distance to max loss is 14.76%. And Microsoft would only need to move 0.54% for us to be in the money. So we'd automatically start making money on this Microsoft spread. This I would take this trade. Oh, 100%. We're beneath, because I like to be below 2 there on these high beta stocks. So I would definitely take this trade. I'll probably come up a little bit from 320. 320 is a little far, so my profit would be not as big as I'd want it to be, but I'd probably come up even maybe to no more than 340. All right. Distance to max loss, I don't like being closer than like 7%. All right. But this basically means that if Microsoft moves up at least 0.54%, we'll automatically start making money. Or as long as the stock stays, above 320, which my distance is 14.7, we don't lose more than 14.76%, then I win the trade. All right? I win the trade. And again, I'm not even going to stay in this the whole 44 days. I'll probably stay in this, 26 days. I'll stay in this 27 days. Get 50% and move on. And just roll out to the next month. And I've been doing that over and over and over and over again. So when people tell me, oh, man, you don't really lose. I really don't lose anymore. I really, really don't lose anymore. Unless I do some dumb shit where I try to play like 7 days or same day DTE, 0 DTE. Or, when I fuck up my own rules and I do that shit, then I lose. Then I lose. But I hope you guys see how that works. All right. I'm building a new calculator that'll allow me to trade the other side, meaning when the markets go down, because that's pretty much a call debit spread. So I'm trying to work on the other side. But again, most stocks are well above the 50 moving average right now, so I'm not worried about stocks headed in the other direction. I'm not worried about stocks headed in the other direction. Yeah. You said ChatGPT 5 is when the Terminators take over. Hilarious. I don't think it's in Thinkorswim or Fidelity, for that matter. And if they are, it doesn't matter. I want it for myself. See, that's the thing. I want it for myself. I want to be able to have it anywhere I need it. I'm not addicted or, tied to any platform. I want to be able to have, wherever I'm at, to be able to do the trade as long as I have those numbers. I can input it and know if that's a good trade to take. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to have it. But I get what you're saying. If it's there, hey, great. But I wanted it for myself. And I built it for myself. All right? I was that woman, but yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm going to let you guys go here. I appreciate you guys for joining me today. Press like on this video right now, man. Do me a favor. Press like on this video right now. I'm going to be broadcasting Monday and Wednesdays. I'm going to do Fridays as well, too, eventually. But Mondays and Wednesdays for now. Obviously, this year was New Year's. But Mondays and Wednesdays. And, of course, I'm going to be putting out content daily on Twitter and Instagram. And also, I've been putting some shorts here, too, as well, on stocks that I really, really like. So I'm going to be putting out a lot of content, man. I'm trying to bring this channel back up here. So we're going to just, all I got to do is be consistent, man. That's all. So, but again, if you like the channel, you've been liking it, man. Shout out to everybody who's in here. All you guys, I recognize all the names. You guys are people who've been here for a long, long, long time. So I appreciate you guys for popping back up here. I really, really do. I really, really do. I have no reason for you guys to be in here, but you are, and I appreciate that. So we're going to be, keeping things rocking and rolling and being consistent. But again, man, look, I know, the call-in line probably threw you guys off, but I would love for you guys to be calling in again. Nobody called in today. I don't see there were any calls today. But next show, call in. Maybe you have some stocks for us to talk about. I know, I kind of put you guys on the spot. So nobody really probably had anything to talk about today. But next show we'll have you guys call in. I'll have it, at the bottom of the screen instead of saying it over and over again. But yeah, we'll have those special shows on Friday again, being chicken and beer shows, but I mean those sometimes can get me in trouble, But we'll keep it to Monday and Wednesdays for now, for me to be consistent, you know what I'm saying? For me to be consistent. So Mondays and Wednesdays, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I feel like people like that 8 p.m. slot. And it allows me to come in, tell you what I need to tell you. And you guys move on to bigger and better things. So, okay. All right. Absolutely. I'll be looking forward to it. But yeah, have some tickers to talk about, guys, next show. I'll be happy to have you guys on and I'll let you guys have your piece. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is another trading day. Trade well, folks. Take care.